Hello, my friend. I trust that you are well. Now, on your screen, we have a paper. This is a paper called Computer Studies, Paper 2 from the Kenya National Examination Council for the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education. Now, this is a practical paper, and of course it has two questions if you are not aware, and these two questions are always compulsory. Once again, they are selected from a range of 4 computer applications, namely word processing, spreadsheet applications, database management, and desktop publishing. So the examiner can pick any two from those 4 application areas. So in this year, we are going to see the questions that we are set, and I believe you are ready, so that we carry on together. Let's go straight to question number 1. Question number 1 says, Form 1 class teacher of Mwango Secondary School intended to use a database to manage students' performance in 3 examinations: opener, midterm, and end-term examinations. Open a database program and create a database named Analysis. Good. So I am opening Microsoft Access for this activity. It is one example that we have for database management. So when you start Access, you will always get this icon, blank database. That's what I click so that we move to the next level. Then the database name should be Analysis, and it is not capitalized, so I type it as it is on the paper. Then I browse. I click the small icon for browse. I believe you can be able to trace it here. I click browse icon so that I can be able to trace where do I want to save my work. I had created a folder to collect all my files in this exam on the desktop. Desktop is what I have clicked, and then there is a folder which I have called KCSE 2019, KCSE 2019 paper 2, KCSE 2019 paper 2. Then having done that and having typed the file name, I click on OK to proceed to the next level. So have I said create? Not yet. So I choose create, and there we go. That's the first step that you'll always find, especially when you are using version 2016, version 2013. I believe also it behaves like that, plus maybe some other versions. But however, I have closed because I want my working area to be completely free, no file there. So the next item, that is part B, Roman 1, create 3 tables named class, student details, and student marks in the database file created in 1A using the following details. So we have class table, we have student details table, and we have got student marks table. We start with the very first one. I've got the paper on my table, so I'm going to refer to the paper on my table, and I would also urge you, if you haven't, kindly visit the links that we have in the description area of this video so that you can be able to download some of these papers. You will find some links where you can get 2 papers that have been uploaded there. So back to Access, where again now we create a new table. I always use table design, and I'll zoom in, guys, so that you're able also to view and to follow what I am doing. Class table. It has got a field name called class ID, no space, class ID written like that. Text size shall be 2. Let me first deal with the field names and then come later on to change the field sizes. Class name, and then teacher, that way. So we start with the very first one, and magnify a little bit so that you'll be in a position to view even the lower area down here. The lower area, is it draggable? Not, it cannot be dragged. So let me just zoom out again. So trusting that you will be able to see at the bottom here where I am now, my focus is at the bottom where we have field properties. Under field properties, one thing that we have is field size. So for field size, class ID, we have got 2. Then class name, we have got 25. Then teacher, we have size, field size 25 again. Okay. Then after that, I will first save the table as it is, and then thereafter probably we shall be required to do some modifications about primary key and the like. Class table, that's the table name. Then I choose OK. You haven't defined a primary key. Do you want to define one now? I say no. I don't want Microsoft Access to do that for me. I'll do it myself when need be. So I then create the next table, which is student details table. So table design again, create table design. Then the fields include add new, student name, and then we have got gender. Gender is the next field name. Then we have got another one called class ID. Okay, so referring to the paper again, add no is a number, so I come there and choose number data type. Then student name is text, short text of course, and the field size at the bottom here, field size 25. At the field properties, field size 25. Gender is a yes, no, yes for female. Okay, so that one we use yes, no data type, and it will be yes for female and no for the male child or the boy child, of course. So then we have class ID. Class ID field size is 2, and then we have got a lookup wizard because we are given strictly the classes to have one E, one N, one W. So I'm going to type that. I will type that and say one E, one N, and one W. Okay, so limit to that list. That's what I have selected, and then I finish. And so I think we are done with that table. We may come back there and probably try to adjust, think of the primary key that can be used for that particular table. Then what do we call it? Student details table. Okay, student details table about primary key. Let it not assign for us any primary key. Create the third one, table design. Once more, we have got now add no is repeated again as a number, and then we have got opener, and then we have got midterm like that. That's how it's written. End term, follow the capitalization as done. You only avoid the trick which the examiner may put for you, like for example using special symbols that are not allowed. Remember, the only special symbol that you should have as you are naming your fields is only the underscore. If you see any other, you can just press ignore. Okay, you ignore it. Student marks table. That's the next table, and then okay, no primary key, of course. So create the relationships between the tables. So in this case, the examiner wants us to be conscious about primary keys, that before we can create good relationships, we need to assign appropriate primary keys. So back again, guys, to class table, and then I choose design. Then which is the best primary key? Class ID, because this is defining classes. class ID shall be the name to be used here, the name to be used for the classes. So I make it the primary key. Okay, then I go to the next table for the student details. Student details, I redesign once more, design view. And then because it's about students, admission number becomes the primary key there. Admission number uniquely defines the students. It's also good to verify our argument against the data that we shall be required to enter. Classes table, you can see we have got 1E, 1N, 1W defining the class. Admission number is what is defining each student. And then there is student marks, so that one we don't have a primary key actually. We don't have a primary key for the third table. So admission number becomes the primary key. What about now in the just a minute, in class ID here for this particular table, we are going to either drop down the list from class ID as we have created lookup values, so there's no need even of trying to establish a new lookup because we have already used a lookup wizard. So having done like that, let's go to the third table, and then I demonstrate to you how you could have established a relationship or relationships between this table plus one other table. So admission number in student marks, this shall be a foreign key for this particular table coming from another table which is called student details. So I go quickly and use lookup wizard, and then I tell the lookup wizard to look up the values from another table, and then next, and then which table, student details, and then next, and then which field, AD no, and then next, and then we may not sort, we go to next, and then next, and then here we have to enable data integrity, such that in stud marks no student should be allowed there if they do not exist in stud details. So then we finish, the relationships have been created, we save the relationships. Okay, zoom out very fast so that we go to the next item. So the next item is just simply creating the relationship between class table and student details. I go to database tools, that's where we have the relationships icon. Okay, my computer has got a funny way of creating a relationship here. I don't know how it uses this one. A relationship which I normally find, this one of 3 items. So that one is not related to us. So the third table which I want to show is, so I have right clicked the relationships area, then show table. Which table is not available? The table which is not available is class table. Then we drop a relationship, drag and drop the relationship on class ID fields. I always prefer enforcing referential integrity and then cascade update. Okay, so our relationships are like that. So that's how you earn full scores, especially when you are able to establish enforced relationships. Close it, and then we go to the next item. So we have done that, and then the next item is create a form. Let me show you the paper. I'm reading a paper on my table, so I may be making some assumptions that you can also see the paper. Where are you seeing the paper from? Create a form for class table and add a subform for student details table. Create a form for the class table and add a subform for the student details table using the format in figure 1. Save the form as data entry. Okay, very fast now. So I want to insert a form, create a new form. Let me use wizard to design the first form. from classes table. Otherwise, if class table was not selected, I could have just dropped down and selected class table, choose all the fields, and then next, and then how do I want it? Columnar layout, not tabular, not tabular, but columnar. And then what do I call it? The form, the mother form shall be called data entry. That's what's the thing that I wanted us to do. And then finish, modify, and then finish. So I have chosen modify so that we are able now to come and reorganize the form just a little bit. Reorganize these headers or the labels versus their respective text boxes, like what I'm doing here now. Rearranging things. So we reduce the size of the labels so that we can have them take a smaller space. Class ID, class name, and then we have got the respective text box there, the respective text box over there. Then teacher, we reduce like that, and then we reduce, we can readjust, we can adjust the control, the text box and the respective label for teacher. So that is the part that we wanted to design. So what about the subform that we have been requested to design? Very easy. The subform, we just know that these details come from the student details table. Therefore, guys, what I'm going to do is simply drag student details table from objects area and drop it in to the form area. Then you get a wizard appearing, and in this wizard, if I can zoom in, I can magnify the window. Would you like to define which fields link the main form to the subform yourself, or choose from the list below? Let me see what is in the list below. Show student table for each record in class table using class ID. Actually, that's the perfect relationship, because every student must belong to a class. So we want, when we choose a class 1E, the students in class 1E should appear. So that's the correct way of having it. So we are not given the name to use for the subform, but I'll call it data entry subform. Data entry subform. So that we will resort to two forms: a form, mother form, the main one, and then there will be a subform, a mother form and a subform. Right, guys? So can we display it in form view? There it is. So you can see admission number, student name, gender, and class ID appears there. Class ID across, and so the arrangement is perfectly done. We go to the next item on page 3 now. Page 3 says enter the following data into their respective tables in the database. Right, so let me close the form. I will not use it so much, but let me just use the forms directly. Order of entry, I start with class table. I must have the classes first. If you do not enter the data in the correct order, you might find the computer giving you some problems somewhere. Form 1 East. Form 1 East, and then the class teacher is Elvis Barongo. So let me widen. Some of these columns are quite narrow. Let me just widen. Why is it not widening? Yes, I was not pointing correctly to the item that I want. 1 East, and then Elvis Barongo. Then we go to 1N. 1N, we have the class teacher, not the class teacher, Form 1 North. Form 1 North, and then we have got the teacher as Alice Nadia. And then again we have got class 1 W, which is Form 1 West, Form 1 West, and then this is for Paul MK Mukacharo. So those are the classes. We go quickly to the next table, which is the student details table, and then can I first enter? No, let me just enter across 7984, the student name. I may require more space for student name, like that. And then I have Mary Kikoti. Hope I'll be fast enough. Then gender, if female, we tick. Then class is 1E. We can choose from the drop down list 1E. Okay, so 7460, and then the name is Erica Kamburi is female, therefore a tick, and therefore class is 1E. Then we move to the next one, 7800, and then the next this is Axilam Khan is a male, so we leave it like that. Then we have got 8083, and then this is Martin Mukanjara, male. So a male, we are leaving it like that. 1E is the class. You can drop down. 8092. This is who? Esther Peresayan. This is a female, a tick, therefore. And in 1N is the class for Esther. 8082. This is Mohammed Ayan is a male from 1N. Okay, so I can just type 1N like so. Then we have got the next one is 7896. Mark Kwalima is a what now? This is a male in 1 West, 1W. Next, we have got another fellow from that is admission 7892. 7892 is Morgan Lemma, and then this is a male as well, but in class 1W. Then we have got 8184. This is Emily Kosege, no, Emily Mawasi, a female. Therefore, we leave it like that, and we say this is a no. When it is female, we are marking with a tick, isn't it? That's what we were advised by the examiner. Okay, then finally 8047. We make it Edward who? Omogeni. Edward Omogeni. Then 1 West. Okay, so those are the entries to be done for students. So quickly we check whether we have marked the girls. Female. We have 4 females. Good. Then the third table, the data about exams. So we've got 7984 there. Then scored 85, 76, and then 82. Then the next one is 7460, and then marks are 7384, and then 79. And then the next one is 7800. Then marks are 78, 79, 86 for end of term. Next is 8083. and this one is 81 for opener, and then 75, and then finally 87. And then next is 8092. 8092, there we have got marks as 73, and then 76, and then 83. Okay, next is 8490. 8490. We had 8490. I missed that. 8490. Let me just skip fast, and then first I go to the next one. 8082. 8082. Marks are, the marks scored include 8170 and 8170, and then 90. Then we have got 7896, 7896, 7896, 88, 85, and then 88. And then we have got 7892. 7892 gives us 85. 85, 84. Very high scorer. 81, 84, like that. And then we have got their marks as 85, 81, and then 83. Then finally, brethren, finally, sistren, we have got 8047. 8047. This is 90. 90, and then we have got 75, and then we have got 86. So there is one guy that we missed, and that is a person with admission number 8490. This is Michael Okioto. Michael Okioto. So actually the guy is missing. Michael Okioto is 8490. 8490. We have to add them in the students table so that we can be allowed again. Remember, it's all about enforcing referential integrity. Lokioto. Why is Lokioto not being visible? Lokioto, male in 1N. 1N. So quickly again, we go to the marks entry. Marks entry. And now I can add the record. It does not matter where. For Michael Okioto, 8490 now. 8490. Then we add 8490 is 71. 71 again, 87. Those are the marks for Michael Okioto. Good. So having done so, access is just so sweet because you don't have to keep on saving anything. Saves automatically the records that you have entered. So we are now on page 4. Our requirements are the examiner wants us to create a query to display the fields admission number, student name, class ID, opener, mid-term, and end term for all students in Form 1 East. So first things first. Admission number, student name, class ID, opener, mid-term, and end term. So to have that easily done, guys, what we are going to do is to create using the query using Query Wizard. Okay, then simple Query Wizard is what we choose. Then is try to zoom in a bit so that you are able to see what we are doing. Then from students table, we are choosing the field admission number. We are also choosing not that table. From the student details table, we are choosing admission number, then student name, then class ID, then opener. On the other hand, from where? From student marks, opener, midterm, and end term. Okay, then carry on to the next level and then show details for every record, and then next, and then what do we call the query? They want us to call the query in capitals F1E, F1E, not FIE, F1E. Let's finish and see how the computer is able to show us the data. There is our data. Then now it's showing all the classes, but remember the examiner only wants us to include Form 1 East. So how do we achieve that? Zoom out very fast, and then so that we go to design view of the query. I right click the query tab, then choose design view. Then to display the particular class of interest, I come to criteria row under the field class ID. You can see I'm in the field class ID, criteria row. I choose, or I type 1E. The computer will add for me what? Double quotes. So 1E within double quotes is what will make the query be able to filter out now, not filtering, but be able to select the records that come only from 1E. Okay, so that's done. Zoom out and save our work. That's done. Query 2. A query to display fields: admission number, student name, class ID, opener, midterm and end term, and calculated field mean score to display the average in the 3 examination. Save the query as overall. So once again, I'll just start the query from scratch. I could have copy pasted, but because it involves other modifications, let me just create again. Query wizard, simple query wizard, okay, right? Then from the students details table, admission number, student name, and then we have got class ID. Then from the student marks table, I choose student marks, opener, midterm and end term, carry on, and then detail to show every record. And then next, then we call it what? The name of the query is overall. No, overall. No. Just a minute. A field named mean score, and the query name shall be overall. So the query name is overall. I'm not wrong. Overall, but it should be calculated. It should be a calculated query. So I have switched to design view. So that now, just follow me closely now. So the examiner wants us to find the total of opener plus midterm and end term. To achieve that, guys, we come to the next available column under the row for field. The row for field in the next available column, I right click that row for field and then I choose build. I choose what? Build. So the computer invokes the expression builder window, and in this case we want to add opener, double click opener, then plus midterm, then plus end term. Okay, so that's the addition of the 3 exams. But because it's average, what are we going to do? We group these 3 exams by using opening and then a closing parenthesis. So you can see where I have added an opening bracket, an opening parenthesis, and then a closing parenthesis. Then all that now, whatever is grouped within the brackets, we divide by 3. We are finding the average. The exams are how many? 1, 2, 3. That's why we are dividing by 3. Okay, so then we click OK there. So the field name is right now EXPR1. So you simply double click EXPR1. Don't tamper with the colon, and then rename the field as mean score. Mean score. I type it as it is there. If they have not used capital, I'll not use capital. If they have used capital, I'll use capital. Then we switch to datasheet view. Now there goes our mean, and because of the width issue, the width of the column, that's why we have the hash error. We are not told to how many decimal places, but in case you just want to improve the appearance of the decimals, you can do that still in design view. In design view, you can right click the field and then display the properties. Display the properties of the field, the new field, mean score, and then you choose format. Choose a number data type or a number format that is called standard. It allows you to have comma style in case you are dealing with things that will require comma style, and then the number of decimals you can say to for example, to 2 decimal places, to 3 decimal places, to 4 decimal places for uniformity, so that we avoid that scenario of having to adjust the width of the column. So guys, that's the query. We have done it. Overall query, we are already done in it. Go to the next item very fast. Create a report to display the details of each student as it appears in figure 2. Mwago Secondary School, head of term report, then bra 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 bra. So where do we get these fields? Because there is even the mini score, it means we are going to base it on the overall query. The query we designed in part what? In part 2 above here. Overall query. So we got back again to the Microsoft Access and then choose overall query and then create a report using report wizard. Report using report wizard. Select all the fields. Select all the fields. And then after that, we carry on to the next item. Okay. Do we need to choose how to group? No. Let it not be grouped. Let us just view by the student marks table. Let's view the layout. Let it be viewed by student marks table. Then we carry on. How shall it be grouped? Do we want to group on anything? We are not told to group on anything. Carry on to the next. And then we have not even been told to sort. So just carry on to the next. Then choose columnar layout. Choose columnar layout, not tabular, but columnar layout. If you choose tabular, it's like you are creating a table, a list with marks and the names. But in this case, it's each student at a time. So columnar layout. Columnar layout. Then what's the name of the report? We are not told the name of the report, so I just call it report. And then we modify the report so that we organize how the fields are going to look like. How the fields are going to look like. Okay, so the report may not have a header. I'm dragging the title here so that I can now have these fields move a little bit down. For what? To insert the heading. I dragged this heading so that I can utilize it here. I utilize it down here. So down here, we are going to have a heading. And I'm changing this one now to read Mwango Secondary School. Secondary School. And then there is also another label. I insert another label down here from the report design tools label control end of term report form. End of term report form. So could these two have an equal font size? Yes, it's possible. So I highlight the two, just dragging over them like that, ensuring they are attached by the selection rectangle. Equal font, like say 16, font size 16. Color, I choose color black, and then I may bold them, they are headings, and then I may do like so, and then I can adjust the width of this lower one so that I use center alignment so that it appears like the illustration given on the paper. So guys, and then we find that these labels are having a lot of wastage of space. So I have selected all the labels and then I try to squeeze them like that. And then squeeze again just slightly. And then when they are selected, I change their color to black instead of the gray. The gray may not be appearing so well. Admission number up there. I'm just reorganizing the layout as illustrated by the examiner. Okay, this one is not student name. The label changes now to name. Then class name. Okay. Class name. Class name. Class name. Okay. Class name. There we are. The field for class. And then there is now the opener and the mean score and the other items down there. And there we are. So probably the only thing that we can increase is vertical spacing. We can increase the vertical spacing. So how we achieve that is by going to arrange. I have 4 controls selected and I want to increase the vertical spacing. Vertical spacing, increase vertical. Increase vertical. Once again, increase vertical once again. Increase vertical. Where is increase vertical? That way. Then size equal size to the narrowest. Then another thing, we have the boxes. We have got the boxes, including these ones. They have visible boxes. So I go to format, and then I choose shape outline. I choose a line thickness, like say that thickness, and then I choose the line color to be this color. All right, so that way now I've got those controls with the respective what? The respective width, thickness, end term. So I'm now trying to adjust the labels. Labels only to reflect what the examiner has there, capital S, capital M here. And then I realize that these labels here, they are slightly far from the respective text boxes. And guys, that is it. So alignment, let them be the same. Let me have them either center aligned or left aligned, will look better. Let me have it at the center. So that's, I think, what the examiner intended for us to do. But if I preview and find something requiring adjustment, then I'll just come and modify. So that is the layout. In case I would like each report form to appear on a separate page, then that's where I can now come in and say, in design view, each report to be displayed on a separate page. I can right click details section, then show the properties of the details section. Under format, I will say force new page after section, force new page after section, force new page after section. So you can see, guys, where I have gone to. I have selected the detail bar, then chose properties so that I can have this window, force new page after section. What are the options are available? None, before section, after section, and then there is before and after. So zoom out and then let's preview the report again. Preview the report again. So that error, I will show you how to eliminate it. So that's page 1. And then we have got the page 2. Page 2 has nothing because of that error that you are finding there. And then page 3 will of course have nothing, and so on. So we go to design view. What is causing page 2 to be blank and page 4 to be blank is this extra space which we are not using. So this space here. So I have squeezed the pages, the number of pages, you know, the footer indicator of the page we are in, and so that I can be able to squeeze the area that we are not utilizing on the report. So that way now, guys, we have got 3 pages of our report, or 4 pages depending whatever the examiner may want. I think that way now we are done. Any other question? So save the report again. Let's see the next question. Wow, we are done. print the 3 tables, the 2 queries, the report for the first 2 students. The only thing we are not printing are the forms. So we go to the database, and then the 3 tables, class table, I open it and then press Ctrl P. Choose the printer, then do what? Click OK. We are done. Then students details table, Ctrl P, choose the printer, click OK. Likewise, the queries, likewise, Ctrl P, and then choose the printer, click OK. And then the report has to be done in print layout view. Then Ctrl P, choose the printer, and then you are told the first 2. So in that case, the first 2, you say, because we have already separated the details of each student to occupy a page, we say from pages 1 to page number 2, and then hit OK, right? So that way now we have tackled this particular question in 2019. So guys, that's question number 1. And I want to wish that you have been able to follow the exercise. It was not a difficult exercise at all. So I'll be uploading another video illustrating how you were supposed to handle question 2 in this particular year. Question 2 will be in a video which you will check again from this channel. Keep in tune so that you will not miss question number 2. Otherwise, guys, may you stay safe and blessed. That's the end of this session, question 1 of the year 2019 Computer Studies Practical. Thank you for staying with us.